Okay, so first question for you is, can you take me back to a moment or when you had, a big aha that you realized that you wanted something different for yourself?
Well, yeah. So I was door dashing at the time, and I had moved here, and my money had gone faster than I thought it would go. And so I was door dashing to make ends meet. And when I was doing that, I was like, I feel like I'm not retired. I feel like I'm working again for less money than I was making before I retired. And what happened? How did I get here? And then I thought, I just need to do something else. I need something else to come into my life. And right after that, I saw one of Michelle's, a friend of mine gave me um, one of the replays for Michelle's webinars. It
Mhm.
was when she was still answering all the questions live. And so it took me like 3 days to go through it because it was like I don't think it was a couple of hours long. And the last question was, well, is this saturated? And I didn't even know I had that question. And when that was answered, and she answered it so well, it was like, oh, this is never going to be saturated. And I was like, okay. And then when my friend said that the training was phenomenal, I was like, will you please get your website up?
No, yeah. So
Yeah.
no, that's awesome. So what do you think for you, aside from, making it sounds like having another income stream was definitely, something that you were craving at that point.
Well,
What
yeah.
else
So if
though
I
for
take you
you was
back
it?
further, if I
Uh-huh.
take you back further before I retired, I knew I didn't have the income to make a difference in my retirement from my savings. So I knew I needed an income in retirement. So where I started, because I didn't know about this, is in MLM with um, crypto investing.
Mhm.
And um, so when I retired, I had six-figure income, but it was in crypto investing. And I call that the gold rush. So 5 months later, it was gone.
Right.
Okay. So that's the impetus. But having had that before, seeing this, when people would say they would make, $100,000 in 6 months, that didn't. I believe that's possible.
Absolutely.
So that didn't. I never thought any of um the sorry, I never thought that any of the testimonials were not real.
Yeah. No,
And so
absolutely.
yeah, but the main thing that I heard when I was door dashing was I could make more money in one sale than I was making in a week. And that was what really interested me.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that. And it happens at, different levels for, all sorts of different people. But yeah, bringing it back to that thing that you said about like the crypto markets. You're definitely not the first and
Oh
you won't
no,
be the last.
there was
And
hundreds of thousands of people in that investment that I was in
yeah.
that lost lots of money.
No, I bet. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's and with crypto too, it's just so new. And it's really hard to gauge because I've invested in, crypto before too. And I've had some investments that absolutely have dropped to zero, some that have risen, but it's just one of those things, right? It's like
Yep,
if you
very
put
true.
everything that you own like into it, and it's like you're backing that, and if it fails, well then
What are you left with? Nothing.
you're left with nothing. So it's great, because if you have something like this, right, to supplement that, where it's like, well, I can make those investments, keep them there and hold them, but still have something to tide me over should the markets go weary or should they fail.
Yeah.
So was anyone else or is anyone else still, being affected by the way things are going?
You mean like with the crypto stuff, or you mean by?
I mean,
Um,
just in the generality of things, like, in your situation currently.
oh, well, so the people that I was in it with are all still trying to figure out how to make this all work.
Mhm.
Um, and there weren't a lot that I was directly connected with. Um, and I've sold it to one of them and I've sold it to my wife. So I've two sales, but I've never felt like those sales were part of this program, because they weren't from people that I didn't know,
Mhm.
which has gotten in my way.
Right.
um,
No, and that's okay. Hey, the sales, they still count, right? Even if it's
yeah,
people to you know.
right,
So
exactly.
yeah,
But
that's all that matters. All that matters is that you're making the
thinking
sales.
gets in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking gets in the way, as the song says.
So who would you say that you're building this for, really?
Really, I'm building it for myself. I'm building it so that I realize that I actually matter and that um, people who don't feel like they matter do. So I'm slaying my demons so I can show up and so that other people who don't believe in themselves can.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Why do you think to you it's so important to help, people like yourself or that type of person?
because we were all put here to be a light to shine for other people who are stuck. And if we're not showing up, then we're leaving people stuck. And we're not, I, I feel like, I don't know, this is gonna, I promised I wouldn't apologize. This is gonna sound really woo-woo, but I feel like I'm, I, I came here like I came into this life with a with a, what I was supposed to be doing. Purpose, I guess that's the way I would put it. Um, and I feel like I haven't fulfilled it. So I'm like, it's not too late.
Right. No, and you're absolutely right.
Like, not too late to show up where I'm supposed to show up as I'm supposed to show up.
Right. And the good thing too that I love is that you realize that, right? Is like, because some people will live their whole lives or go through their whole lives with, you know, wanting to do more, or maybe never have reaching, that higher calling or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And then, it's you're 90 and on your deathbed, and it's like, oh, well, I wish I could have done more, or wish I did
I
something
don't want to
differently with
be
my life.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for
exactly.
putting that so well. It's
And
exactly what I want. I don't want to
right.
be in regrets when I get to my
Yeah,
deathbed.
definitely. Yeah, no, and but you're taking all the right steps, right? It's like you've already had, that shift where it's like I realize that I don't want that for myself. So you're already going in the right direction when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So what do you think is different about you now compared to when you first joined this DG community?
Before I joined the DG community, I was sleepwalking through life. And now I'm more awake and engaged than I ever have been before.
What do you think you're most proud of accomplishing so far?
That my videos are more me than they've ever been in the past. That I'm and I'm in the process of getting out of my way. I don't think I'm quite out of my way yet, but I'm getting in the process of getting out of my way so that I can build a community of people that um, want to make a difference in the world so that we can work together and make a bigger difference in the world. And I want, and so I'm building that, but I'm also building my um, influence and my confidence in myself.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
And
so that I can show up for people. But my honesty, that's what I'm gonna,
no,
gonna
that's
put my
awesome. Yeah.
honesty.
No, that's a great answer. I love it. Yeah, but yeah, it's like we say, it's just, you're just taking those small steps, right? And if you're consistent with it and you're patient, then it'll happen eventually, right? It may
Yeah,
not
yeah,
be, and it may not be at the level that you want it to be, but you're chipping away, right? So it's like if you're doing all the right things, well, essentially, how can it not happen to you, right?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
That's the part of the faith part is because DoorDashing was the beginning of my learning how to have faith about the income was coming in. And this is really, really stepping into that more and recognizing that I'm doing the work and it's reaching the right people and it will eventually, that message will land. Because I am somebody who won't quit. I am somebody that will keep trying until I find the right message. That's just
absolutely.
who I am.
Yeah. And I get that, yeah, that sense from you. So that's great too. Um, we talk a lot about mindset, how important it is not only in, everyday life, but also in business. So what mindset shift do you think has made the biggest difference for you since joining?
Um, well, before I retired, what I was doing was product promotion. So probably the biggest mind shift set shift for me that happened at the mastermind was recognizing, oh my God, what I was teaching people how to do, help people buy, have your message be about the other person, not about you. So it wasn't about making sales, it was about helping them buy, is exactly what I'm doing here. And just seeing that whole progression of my life of how the whole, if you drew an arrow from when I was born, I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
No, that's great. I love that. So now say everything goes right for you, right? You're helping people, you're making money, your business is where you want it to be. What does your dream life look like 12 months from now?
Getting up when I want to get up. I'm doing what I want to do based on whatever is in my space. So if it's a beautiful day, I'm out playing golf. If it's a rainy day or something, I'm doing something in the house with my wife. We get to go travel when we want to travel. And I'm building a foundation that will support kids that are in that transition between high school and whatever's next for them.
Mhm.
That's a self-sustaining foundation that will um, give them skills that they can use going forward in their lives, give them the support to heal their hearts because for whatever reason their family isn't there for them, and um, give them grants to go where they need to go next. And anyway, so yeah, it's still a little blurry, but that's what God's dropped into my head. Okay, this is what you need to do with all this money you're going to make.
No, that's okay. And that's okay if it's so blurry. You're still figuring it out, and
Yeah.
eventually, that'll become clearer and clearer as you progress through all this.
Mhm.
So what do you think it'll mean to you when you actually pull this off for yourself? I mean, your family, your future, your legacy. What does that look like?
Oh, well, then it'll be like Paul Allen was one of the big people in Microsoft that started Microsoft, and what
Mhm.
he created in Africa was a bunch of parks that are in this self-sustaining way. He created a foundation, and he created the communities help the parks help the communities kind of
Mhm.
deal. And that's the kind of legacy I want to, because there's other people doing foundations that help that will live on. And that's what I want to do is I want to have something that will live on for generations after I live, because I'm the last person in my family. And then the kids that my brother had, they're not having kids. So my family's gonna not be there. But if I
Right.
can leave a legacy that will, like the Carnegies that created libraries for the whole country. If
Hmm.
I can create a legacy like that, that'll stay along and help generations after I'm gone, then I build what I'm supposed to do. And then I will be able to die with no regrets.
No, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's an awesome answer. And that's a good thing about this as well as when it comes to, a digital product is you build it once, right? And then in this digital age that, we live in now, it continues to live on forever with or without you, right? So even after we're gone, it's still going to be floating out there, right? Which I absolutely love about
The
this as well.
endowment kind of thing
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what do you think is the biggest, or it doesn't have to be the biggest. What do you think are some things that you've learned most about yourself through this entire journey since starting?
Um, the difference between stubborn and tenacity.
Mhm.
Um, I was stubborn for a long time, but I've also recently decided to be much more coachable and just stop saying, no, I can't do that and start saying, how can I do that? Um, and let's see, what else have I found out about myself? That I'm more than that I have more to give than I ever thought I did. And that what I have to give is important.
That's right. No, I love that. That's beautifully
That's
put.
huge.
So what advice would you give to someone who's maybe in the same position as you were, or someone who's scared to start, or maybe just on the fence about doing something like this?
Um, it's so funny because I'm the person that will jump into the deep end and then go, oh fuck, I don't know how to swim. And so it, I mean, the real honest answer is when if you asked me what would surprise me about after I got into this, it would be everything. And so I guess what I would say is just jump in because there's nothing in here that is gonna hurt you. And that's I mean that's the difference between like the crypto and the MLM. That was painful. But this is such a low investment that and then I mean, if I can get my investment back, anybody can, frankly. Anybody can. So then you don't have any skin in the game. I mean, well, you have skin in the game, but it's not money.
Right.
It's your time. And when you start, and if you're scared, just recognize how courageous you've been in everything else you've done in your life. And that all you have to do is just be just a little courageous. And then you find out you don't die.
Yeah, no, and I like what you said, yeah, about the fear. It's right. It's instead of thinking of all the bad that comes with fear and thinking worst case scenarios, it's like, why not flip that around, especially if you have nothing to lose, right? It's like, why not make it work for you? It's just, it's one of those things, right? It's just, it's like if you're starting from absolutely nothing, or if you've lost everything, it's like, why wouldn't you just make that little shift, right? And it's like, well, what else could I possibly lose? So it's like, because even if you were to get involved with something like this and you went through the courses and you were on the calls and you learned what you could, it's like even if you decided that maybe it wasn't for you, well, you still have all that knowledge that you gained just by going through it, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
will last you forever and I'm sure would impact other parts of
There's
your life.
right. And there's so many people in here who did things prior and created courses and stuff, and then come into this and find a way to implement it.
Mhm.
And it's like, so if I learn these skills and I don't actually use them now, it's not like it's not going to come back and there's going to be another opportunity to figure this, to use these skills.
Right.
And that's, I mean, my wife who doesn't hasn't done anything with this program, uses these skills to, I mean, she to have more money and more um, volunteers come to our library and building up the Friends of the Library Foundation that she became a member of and then became a board member with.
Hmm.
Um, and all she's doing is one magazine article every month that goes to every household in the company in the town.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
she's
it's
consistent with that.
right.
You don't have to, I mean, it's, and the company I was in before I retired, we used one script for the whole country and made, millions of dollars.
Hmm.
Not for me.
No,
So I
you're absolutely
know
right.
this, I know, all of it, I know this works.
Yeah,
I really do. It's just I
definitely.
have to start implementing it.
Mhm. And bringing back to how you said, it's like, even if your wife isn't involved with it, it's like, even just by you doing it, it's just like it affects everyone around you, right? Because it changes you, they see those changes, right? You're
Mhm.
doing things differently. So it just rubs off, right? So it's like whoever you're around, it eventually is going to rub off on them, right? So what you know, or that knowledge that you could pass on to them, which I really love about this as well. So,
Mhm.
last question for you. What do you now know is possible since joining?
Oh my God. Everything. I mean, this program can take anybody, me, from where I was, pretty almost rock bottom, to anywhere I want to go. And so I don't think there's, I mean, sky isn't even high enough. It'd be like I don't know, the sun's the limit, right? I mean, there's no, wherever I'm willing to take it, it will go.
Absolutely. I love that answer. It's a great answer. Well, Willow, that is all the questions I have for you. I want to thank you
Thank you
again,
so much,
taking the
Alex.
time for hopping on with me. It was a pleasure talking to you,
You
and I
too.
appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank
I
you. You
really,
too.
really thank you so much.